So it's Holy Week and Easter is coming over the weekend. And I thought I'd make a video about a specific revelation I had about Jesus recently. The J word. And I just wanted to share that with you. And basically, I am a person who goes to a Christian church. I've been doing that for the past 10 months or so here. And I was raised in a Christian household and taken to church periodically and always been attracted by the teachings of Jesus. But as of today, I don't identify myself as a Christian. I haven't been baptized. My pastor keeps trying to get me to get baptized. I'm like, slow down here, Johnson. But I'm curious, and that's why I am going to church and I'm learning about it, and it is definitely drawing me towards that faith of all the faiths. Now, I also was very interested in Eastern philosophy and religions like Buddhism, and I really identified it like that for a long period of time when I was in college. But I've always been down with Jesus. He's the man, and I really like what he talks about. But I haven't been identified as a Christian. So for whatever I say right now, just let that sink, let that kind of color what I'm about to say. I'm not someone who's 100% identified as Christian. I'm curious. But I had the idea the other day of my way of thinking about God is not a guy out there somewhere who is in a white robe and a long white beard and has dominion over all things, but is identified as a person, as a being. And when we say God created us in his image, that doesn't fly with the way that I think about God. I think about God as being everywhere at all times, is a part of everything, and is just too grand to be identified as a person. And so I thought to myself, well, that makes it very hard to have a personal relationship with. Now, it's not impossible, but it makes it more difficult. I tend to personify God when I want to talk to God and engage with him. I even put a gender on him so that I can make it easier for me to communicate and to have that personal relationship with. So when I thought about it, I go, well, man, it would be a lot easier if I was really bought into the whole Christian ideal, because I would just talk to Jesus then. And I go, wait, maybe that's the whole point of Jesus. Maybe the whole point was because things can get lost in translation. You see stories about that in the Bible. People are just like, when God speaks to them, it's like they can't even, they're like, oh, they like freak out. They get scared because it's too much. But then you put it into a man. You put it into a human man who can communicate, and you can have that personal relationship with now. People were able to do that when he was alive, but moving forward, because my concept of God is so awestruck, it's too much for me to even conceptualize. I have an idea about it, but it's not necessarily really 100, because my brain capacity, if what I believe about God is true, my brain's capacity cannot comprehend God. So it's so big and it's so crazy and it's so awesome, the real word of awesome, that I can't even really comprehend it. It's too much for my brain to handle. But a man that walked the earth like Jesus is something that I can comprehend. We have pictures of him. That is something that I can comprehend. And if I want to have that relationship, that one-on-one personal relationship with God, I can do that through the man we call Jesus. And so I look at it, and there's so much in my life that is pulling me towards Jesus. And I really do agree and am consciously on that side, but I still want to know more. And I think that's part of one of the reasons why my pastor just is like, just submit, dude. It's like, you don't need to figure out anymore. The brain is actually holding you back from this life that is calling you and the life that you really want to live. I think deep down that's actually what's happening. And so, but for that, to appease that conscious side, my brain is always thinking of ideas. And some of them are trying to tear it down, which is not good, right? The ideas of that's not whether, you can't just choose one religion. What if you're wrong? What about all these other religions? They have some good stuff too. You love Buddhism. There's all this stuff that goes on in my brain to stop me from just submitting and just saying, okay, I surrender, Jesus, I'm going to follow you. The other sides of it are like, hey, like what I just thought about. Hey, look at this. This is such a convenient thing for you to have this thing that you want, this personal relationship with God. You can do that with Jesus. It makes it so much easier for you to personify God when you have this human man as your representation of God. And that's what I think some of the point of God's bringing Jesus to earth was to have that personal relationship, not only him with us, but us with him, and allow it to not be so awestrucking or awestruck. You'd be so, that confusion that you might have when something is so big and so grand and so incomprehensible. When you put it into a man and then you see it and you visualize it and you can talk to it, it makes it a lot easier. So for me, I think that is one of the ways that I am really starting to get drawn towards the Christian faith and Jesus, is because it makes it so convenient. I have so much going on in my head, and I want this sense of comfort and security. Sometimes that doesn't come from something that is incomprehensible. It's too big for me. Now, you might say, well, that should give you safety and security. It's everywhere. It's all things yes, but sometimes I want that personal relationship and that ability to communicate. And you know what it's like when people say they pray and it's like, am I even talking to anyone out there? Please answer me. Well, with Jesus, it's like, hey, I'm just talking to a friend. I'm just spending that time with one person. And I think for me, it's just one of those things that recently came to mind. And when I've been going through some mental, just not good, things have just not been great mentally at times, for me to just say, Jesus, take over, right? Hey, I need help. And just communicating with that one entity, it makes it easier for me, this is just where I'm at right now. It makes it easier for me to say the things that I want to say and communicate the way that I want to communicate, and let go of things. Whereas sometimes you do have that sense of like, am I really, where is it going? If God's everywhere, is he really concerned with me? Whereas it's like that personal relationship, man to man, with me and Jesus, even if it's all fantasy. Hey, it all could be BS. Who knows? All right. Until we die, we don't know for sure. And maybe even when we die, we don't know for sure. But I am trying to find ways of dealing with life here. And because it's difficult. It's difficult. Okay. Life is difficult. And so I would love to have more help. And I feel like that relationship with Jesus would be helpful. It has been helpful in the past. Like I said, I've had a lot of great experiences, but this thing wants to tell me, no, you can't choose one. I have all of these doubts, but this is just one of those things that's pulling me towards him. And I wanted to share that because it's Holy Week and Easter's coming, and it's an interesting time. This time is very, very interesting because it is this sacrifice, this representation of taking all of our burdens away. And I still want to keep some. I still want some for myself. I don't want to give it all. This is part of me talking this stuff out. It's like, I need to figure it out. I need to figure it out. I need to have all the answers. And Jesus' sacrifices, no, you don't. Let go. All right? Let go. I've taken all that from you. It's over. Just surrender. Just submit, and all will be given to you. And it's a very, very good time, I think. It's reading about it in the Bible. It's very, very interesting because it's like this moment that, there was so much uncertainty, but the moment of him dying on the cross and the resurrection is this moment for like the disciples, these people who are following him and like they're giving their life. They're still unsure, just like any human. They're unsure about what's really going on, and is this guy the real deal? And when you have that sacrifice, that it's like everything came to be through this terrible, horrible moment. That is what gave people the confidence to know, yeah, this is really the guy. He was the real deal. And so it's an interesting time. I'm still learning. I'm still curious. I haven't been completely bought in all the way. But I just wanted to talk about that since it was Holy Week and this was on my mind recently, about that personal relationship with Jesus and how that makes it easier for someone like me with these thoughts of how grandiose I believe God is everywhere, all things, all time, a creator of time, that I can then communicate with some personification of God called Jesus that makes it easier for me to have that personal relationship. Like a friend, I can have a relationship with Jesus. And I think that makes it easier for me to stay true to my faith and continue along the path that God has sent for me. So that's it for today. Just wanted to get that out on Holy Week. Have a happy Easter. Have a happy whatever, Passover, whatever it is that you're celebrating. And even if you're not celebrating anything, even if you're like me, if you're curious or not, if you're completely certain that there is no God, I wish you a good spring season, and that is all for today.